Welcome, 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 everyone. All right, we got folks joining us here too. I already see that we have 6 people here. We will be starting at 12:02, but while we are waiting here, I would love for everybody to drop your names in the chat, your business, and what you do. All right, all. Thank you all very much for joining us. Welcome or welcome back to another Lunch and Learn with the Columbus Minority Business Assistance Center, powered by your Columbus Urban League. We're very excited to have you join us here today again for another Lunch and Learn about tax planning, financial compliance for Ohio small businesses. So, with our Lunch and Learn series, they are designed to give our business owners practical, timely knowledge that supports your business growth, readiness, and long term success. Today, it is a very, very important topic. It's tax season, and we don't want it to be stressful for you all. So I have partnered up with our colleagues over at the Ohio Department of Taxation, Abigail, Ty, and Morgan, who will be guiding us through essential tax planning topics, common filing mistakes, and best practices that put you at peace and help you stay organized and audit ready. So as we're getting started here, I have a few housekeeping things here to let you know. This session is being recorded and you will be able to receive the recording so you're able to watch at your own time and access at your own times. It will also be posted to our YouTube channel where we offer an abundance of different webinars and trainings to support your business growth and knowledge. In addition, we'll send you a post follow-up email with the survey and just additional resources how you can connect with Columbus MBAC in the Ohio Department of Taxation. Last, we will have a Q&A at the end of this presentation. So throughout this presentation, please put your questions in the chat and we will answer them at the appropriate time. Other than that, we thank you again for spending your lunch hour with us. I'll be turning it over to our presenters today.
Hello. One moment.
Can I be sent a new invite? It seems like I was removed, so the presentation's not able to be shared. Trying to
No
use
worries. You want to try to join back in again?
Yep. 1 second. There we go. All right. So sorry about that, everyone.
Apologies, everyone, as we are working through our technology here. For those of you haven't already introduced yourself in the chat, let us know again who you are, your business name, and what you do. So far, we have Kristen on here. She is from Ohio Health and she works with protective services, and she also has her own cleaning business here in Central Ohio. Christian, let us know what your business name is here. Charles here, who is the president and CEO of Sadiq Solutions, a reseller of IT products. Welcome, Charles. All right, Unisha. Hey, Unisha. She is a realtor. We have LaQuinta here, and she is starting a DODD agency. All right. Kristen with C&J Elite Services. Come on, thank you. Of course, Charles, you're very welcome. It's good to see, good for you to join us on here. Fatima Kane of Vendoverse AI, manufacturer of AI-powered vending machines, the future of unattended retail. Come on, Fatima. Wonderful. All right. Great. Thank you all so much. So while we're here, again, they're getting their presentations up. Something I maybe want to know is what is something that you're looking forward to learning here. So we'll go ahead and buy some time as they get things up. I'm definitely wanting to know about the different workflows and suggestions they have to keep our business owners audit ready. And as you are thinking about what you're looking forward to learning here today, I want to take this time to let you know about some of Columbus MBAC's other upcoming events. Later on, we actually have another series called our Let's Talk Business series. This is a in-person workshop led by Columbus MBAC specialists, essentially teaching you a lot of your hot topics, such as, for example, capability statements, how to create those, what they are, how to use them for your business and use them to your advantage for your business when you're out there networking with different folks, seeking contract or other opportunities. Right now, this afternoon, we actually have a Let's Talk Business series at the Columbus Downtown Library starting at 1 o'clock. For business financials, what are they and what they do? Later on in March, we have our financial advisor, Kool-Aid Brown, Mal Brown, who will be teaching the 5 W's of funding: who, what, when, where, and why, plus how to get that funding. In addition, next month, we have 2 Lunch and Learn series here. Let's see, March the 12th, we'll have a lunch and learn on debt management and smart borrowing strategies with Chase Bank. And then the end of March, we will have another one with the Workers' Compensation Department through the state on risk management essentials. So I will drop you all the link so you all can always know what we have going on. Our events are free, 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 and for you. So we have our presentation up, so I will go ahead and be dropping off here and let our presenters get going. Enjoy the time.
Thank you so much. We're so sorry about the technical difficulties, but we're ready to begin our presentations. My name is Abby, and I want to thank you for inviting me to speak on Ohio employment updates and our annual filings with our guidelines and resource navigation. I'm a tax examiner here in our employer withholding division, and I'm very excited to speak with you all today. Next slide, please. So our legal disclaimer, the information here is not does not constitute any legal or tax advice. Any legislative changes that take place after this presentation may change the accuracy of this content. And we also want to please note that all account and company information in this presentation is fictitious, and screenshots were taken from our testing environment within the department. If you have any questions, please contact the department. Our phone number is listed below, and we are option 3. So for today, we're going to discuss any updates, annual filing requirements, our new OH Tax e-services system, and items that can be completed there, our W-2 upload feature and the acceptable file types, and how and where to file them on e-services, our resources and where to locate any help aids, and contact information to reach out if you need any assistance. Next slide, please. Our withholding updates. Next slide, please. So some updates to our school districts. We do have 6 new taxing school districts, and 2 of them did expire this year, but we have a total of 21 renewals. This photo taken is a page on our website that lists all of our tables and the rates, so they are available at any time on tax.ohio.gov. Just a few reminders, school district is based on the home address of the employee, and it is separate from city and municipal taxes. We do have a resource on our website called The Finder, where you can enter in an employee's home address to see if the school district they live in is taxing. Any definitive answers or if there's any conflicting information should be taken to the county auditor. Some changes this year. Our tax rates for fiscal year 2026, they did go into effect on October 1st, and they are still effective today. And the fiscal year 2027 will go into effect later this year in July. To be updated on those, we do have a tax alert on our website, tax.ohio.gov, that'll help you with any questions. Next slide, please. So for our annual filing requirements, every employer maintaining an office or transacting business within the state of Ohio and making a payment of compensation to an employee, whether they are a resident or non-resident, must withhold Ohio income tax. Non-resident withholding is only required if the employee performs services in Ohio. There are some exceptions. If the non-resident would be within the states that have a reciprocity agreement with Ohio. They are the states that border Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. Employees should always withhold for a resident of Ohio, regardless of where the services were performed. Our annual filing requirements are that we do require electronic filing, and this Ohio Administrative Code is listed on the next slide. A reminder letter will be issued to every time a paper return is received from the employer. Filing frequencies are reviewed during the fall of each year. Changes are effective January of the following calendar year. Written notification will be sent to the company via mail and e-services. A change can be requested anytime throughout the year on e-services. However, the change will go into effect the next year. An only exception for changing mid-year would be a selection error during the registration process. E-services will accept multiple filings within one period. An example is that in the fourth quarter, you may file for each month. They will simply all show as fourth quarter filings, but you could have 3 for October, November, and December. This past year, our final year forms, our annual reconciliation was due February 2nd, but it will be around the same time every year. A good rule of thumb is January 31st. On OH Tax e-services, many things that will be listed out in the next slide are that previously required a phone call or a business account update form can now be done in e-services. This will include managing the names, updating any legal name or address, responding to letters and notices, sending a message. Account balances will show on the summary page, These account balances are cumulative, and you can select the Manage Your Returns link to see a balance for a specific year. Penalty abatement. Updating an FEIN is for corrections only. There must be an SS4 document from the IRS and included a detailed explanation. If you are issued a new FEIN, you must register for a new employer withholding account. And a second withholding account can be made under the same FEIN. This is usually reserved for retirement withholding that is tracked separately. There are also account status, requesting refunds, and transcripts. Next slide, please. As of November 10th, logging directly into e-services directly to e-services is going to be the way to go. Ohio Business Gateway will no longer be used to manage any kind of access. Everything will be done through e-services. When filing your IT 501s or SD 101s, payments are required at the time of submission. Payments can be deferred up to the due date, but you will no longer be able to file one without a payment. We now have Pilot to assist finding answers and information, the red bird listed in the corner. Live chats are available Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the Ohio Business Gateway will only be used for history prior to going into e-services. This was December 9th of 2024. Next slide, please. There are a couple different ways with our new Rollout 3 of OH Tax that took place on November 10th to gain access to a client's business account. A company can now grant third-party access with an invitation. There are step-by-step instructions located on tax.ohio.gov and in our OH Tax self-help library. There is also a self-service option, which I will show you right now. On the next slide, you will see that the first step is going to be logging into our e-services system. Next slide, please. When you log into the OH Tax e-services, it will require you to input your OHID, username, and password, and select Login. Next slide. Next slide, please. So from the e-services dashboard, you're going to select the Manage My Profile link. This will lead you here to the Additional Services tab. So you'll select that Additional Services tab. Next slide, please. This here demonstrates that Manage My Profile link. So if you go to the next slide, you will see the Additional Services tab. And on the next slide, this is where you'll see the Business Access Management tile. You'll select the link that says Access Accounts under an FEIN. Next slide, please. The Getting Started option will provide useful information about what you will need to successfully complete the business access request. Before moving on, it is good to obtain one of the following: an assessment letter if you've received any kind of bill from us, a letter, a payment amount, or a refund. This page will also let you know that once your request is reviewed, you can expect an email and you would select Next. On the next slide, you'll be asked to enter the legal name of the business with the FEIN, and then select Next. And the next slide demonstrates that you will enter the relationship to the business by selecting one of the following from the dropdown. It lists attorney, an agent, member, a non-owner employee, an officer, an owner, a representative, statutory agent, or a trustee. Then answer the following question. Do you have authority to manage other representatives on behalf of the business? You can select yes or no, and then next to continue. On the next slide, you'll see on the account types page, you'll select all account types you would like to request access to. Selecting one of these tax types will give you access to, for example, withholding. You'll be given access to the employer withholding account, school district withholding account, and if applicable, a gaming withholding account. And you would select next to continue. Next slide, please. Select what actions you will be performing. So this is if you're only filing returns, you could be filing returns and making payments, or only making payments, or you could have a view only option. So this is what performance you're going to be performing on the account. Next slide, please. You'll select the piece of information stated before about the business that you'll provide. So a letter ID, assessment number, or a payment. Once you make your selection, you'll be able to enter that information and click Next. On the review page, you'll be able to review the information you entered for accuracy. You can use the previous button to make any updates or select Submit to move on. And lastly, once you hit Submit, on the next slide, you will see a confirmation page. That states that your access request has been submitted with a reminder of what to expect. You should receive an email. You will see a confirmation code that you can keep for your records, and you can print that as well. And then select OK to move on. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Once the request has been approved, you can return to your e-services dashboard and you'll be able to see the business and the account requested. All of the steps covered are located in our OH Tax Self-Help Library on our OH Tax e-services homepage under the Self-Help section. The Self-Help Library will also include a YouTube video walkthrough as well as step-by-step instructions with screenshots. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. When submitting forms and payments, you should always select File and Pay Now to file your quarterly, monthly, or partial weekly IT 501 or SD 101 forms and remit the payment. This is shown here in Step 1. This information will populate on your annual reconciliation and make it easier to see totals filed throughout the year. The Make a Payment option shown in Part 2 is in the Account panel, and this should rarely be used. It's primarily for paying any kind of bill or assessment notice received from the department. Payment methods can also be saved in e-services as well. Next slide, please. Refunds can be requested through e-services as well. When using the new refund request option, please submit supporting documentation and an explanation to substantiate the overpayment. If an overpayment is due to incorrect liability on your annual reconciliation, you will need to amend the IT 941 form. Next slide, please. Now we will move on to the W-2 1099 upload information. We will go over accepted file types, where to go on e-services to upload your file, as well as going through the steps to upload your file through e-services. Next slide, please. So the submission due date is the same as for your annual reconciliation. This past year was February 2nd, 2026 for tax year 2025. The good rule of thumb as well is January 31st, unless that is a weekend or holiday. There currently is no changes to the W-2 upload specification, and it is required to be filed electronically. Currently, more than 99.7% of employer withholding taxpayers file electronically, so we want to keep up the good work. There are 3 options for submitting a file. A W-2 text file, the department follows the EFW2 layout required by the Social Security Administration. However, we do have certain modifications that are specific to Ohio as outlined in the specifications on our website. The W-2 CSV file is the simplified W-2 method spreadsheet. It is only for W-2s and was created to assist smaller businesses with the compliance of our W-2 filing. This involves a manual entry of all the W-2 information into a spreadsheet to create a CSV text file. The W-2 manual entry submissions, this is new with our OH Tax e-services. This option was requested by many businesses, especially smaller businesses, that do not have a payroll software to make or create these W-2 files. Companies can simply input the W-2 information directly into our OH Tax e-services system. 1099 text files follow the ODT follows the 1099 layout required by the IRS in Publication 1220. W-2 and 1099 information must be submitted on separate files. They cannot be in the same file type. W-2 and 1099 specifications, tutorials, and any spreadsheets listed are located at tax.ohio.gov at any time. All annual income statements will be submitted through OH Tax. Upload options are located in the Income Statement Upload panel. For a TXT or CSV file, you'll select the Upload Income Statement link. To manually enter the W-2s, you'll select Enter Annual Wage Statements. Manual entry is currently only for W-2s. There is not an option right now for W-2Cs. For any file errors, there will be an option that the file will be displayed to show the errors and will be required to be corrected before files can be uploaded. Descriptive error reasons are provided, including line numbers and position placement. Now we will go through the steps of uploading a W-2 file. Next slide, please. First, you will log into our e-services system using your OHID username and password. Next slide. Next slide, please. Again, you'll use your OHID username and password to log in. From the OH Tax e-services dashboard, you'll locate the Employer Withholding Tax Type panel and click the link in the Account panel for Upload Income Statements. Next slide, please. On the withholding file upload page, you'll select the type of income statement that is being uploaded from the drop-down menu. This can include W-2s, W-2Cs, W-2Gs, 1099-Rs, 1099 NECs, and 1099 miscellaneous. Once that's been selected, you will click Next. Next slide, please. Thank you. Next, you will click the Upload File. Select Choose File from the pop-up window and select the income statement from your computer. Once the file is attached, you'll select OK. The next page will show if there are any errors within the file. An error window will pop up providing the following information: number of errors, description of the error, the row and starting position of the error. Once these have been corrected, the file can then be uploaded. If there are no errors found, a check mark will appear on the blue banner stating there were no errors found with your file. Repeat this process as many times as necessary to upload the required files. When all files have been attached, you'll click Next. Lastly, in the review screen, review the summary information for accuracy. This will include the income statement type, total employees, total wages, total Ohio tax withheld, and total school district tax withheld. If the totals are correct, you'll click Submit to continue. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next, you will see a confirmation page. When you see this page, please know that your file has been accepted. We no longer send an email confirming the file was accepted as in the past. To print the confirmation page, you'll select Printable View and then select Done. Select OK when you are done. Next slide, please. 1099 files are accepted electronically. This will include the 1099-R, the 1099 miscellaneous, and the 1099 NEC. We only require the miscellaneous and NEC 1099s if there was Ohio withholding withheld on these forms. For any questions or specifications, tutorials, and frequently asked questions, you can visit tax.ohio.gov in the income statement section. Currently, we are unable to accept any PDF files. This will include any files that have been converted to a TXT or text file. These files will reject for not meeting specifications. The 4-digit school district code is required on the form and is in box 20 of the W-2. A full Social Security number is required on the 1099 W-2 files. However, the Social Security number can be truncated on the W-2s issued to the employee. As a reminder, any questions concerning the W-2 and 1099 uploads can be directly submitted to us through a message on eServices. A paper IT3 is not required. The upload feature online will automatically create this paper form from the information submitted. Next slide, please. And here are our resources. Tax.ohio.gov has great resources about our guidelines and any help filing. The self-help page will provide any tutorials on e-services and filing and payments. The Ohio Revised Code and the Ohio Administrative Code shows you any laws or rules that need to be followed. The W-2 information page on tax.ohio.gov lists all of our specifications and spreadsheets. Our withholding tables, current and past, are currently on tax.ohio.gov as well. And in e-services, you do have the option to message us at any time. And finally, on the last slide, there is our contact information. So signing up for text alerts is a great way to stay informed about law changes, important deadlines, and announcements from the Ohio Department of Taxation. Our phone number is 888-405-4039, and employer withholding is option 3. Thank you so much for having me today. It has been a pleasure.
All right. You're totally fine. Perfect. Well, while Morgan's getting up my presentation, let me just introduce myself. My name is Ty. I'm a tax examiner here in the Business Tax Division of the Ohio Department of Taxation. And today I would like to discuss with you some information and guidance regarding planning and complying with Ohio's sales and use tax. Now, Ohio Business Tax Division also administers a tax called commercial activity tax. However, that tax is primarily for large business entities. So if you have any questions about it, I'm more than happy to address them when we get to the Q&A portion. Obviously, our legal disclaimer information provided in this presentation is given for general guidance only, does not constitute legal or tax advice. Any legislative or legal changes that take place after the date of this presentation may change the accuracy of this content. Additionally, facts and circumstances applicable to your situation may impact any answer provided herein. So, quick agenda. We are going to cover some general information about sales and use tax. We're going to cover registration, filing, and paying, as well as our billing cycle, our voluntary disclosure program, and then some general dues of sales and use tax. All right, so to start with the overview, sales tax was enacted into law in 1935, so we are coming up on 100 years. Sales and use tax applies to the retail sale, lease, and rental of tangible personal property, as well as taxable services in Ohio. A person or a business that's making retail sales of tangible personal property or services must obtain a vendor's license for collecting and remitting sales tax. And some rate information and resources are available on tax.ohio.gov, our website, as well as the Ohio Revised Code, Chapter 5739. So diving into the difference between property and services. So the sale of tangible personal property, that's property that's seen, felt, weighed, measured, touched, or otherwise is perceptible to the senses. That's going to be taxable unless a specific exemption or exception applies to that sale. Whereas providing a service is taxable only if that certain service is defined as taxable in the Ohio Revised Code. And again, even in those situations, a specific exemption or exception might apply. Taxable services includes building maintenance, janitorial, lawn care, landscaping, snow removal, personal care, and towing services, as well as several more. The full list is available in the Revised Code, Section 5739.01, subsection B3. More information about taxable services and sales tax exemptions is also found on our website, and we'll look at that a little bit later. So for registration, if you determine that you need to register for a sales or use tax account, you'll probably need to register for one of these three types of accounts. So a county vendor's license, you'd want to sign up for this if you are a vendor with a fixed place of business making taxable sales, or a vendor that provides taxable services. Whereas for a transient vendor's license, you would want to register for this type of account if you operate from temporary places of business. Consumer's use tax account is an account you would sign up for if you were a company or individual and you need to remit use tax on purchases where Ohio sales tax was not previously paid. So for all three types of accounts, you can register online through e-services. I thank Abby for kind of covering the beauty of e-services. County vendors license holders also have the added option to register at their local county auditor's office. And then all three, you can register through paper form. Registration fee for the vendor's licenses is $50. There is no fee for consumer's use. Only note here is if you plan to register by paper, be prepared to mail in your registration form with your registration fee. That should be a check made out to the Treasurer of State, and then allow up to 6 weeks for processing. E-services, if you register there, the registration is instantaneous. So some people go that route just for the faster turnaround. So once you have registered for your account, you now should begin filing. So when it comes to filing, there is there's a filing requirement and due date that I'd like to cover. With sales and use tax, it's thought of differently than income tax. So there is no set filing season. Instead, you file according to your frequency. Um, so sales tax returns, they're submitted either twice a year or once a month. Every account holder is assigned one of those two frequencies based on the estimated liability that they report on their registration. The same holds true for use tax accounts and use tax frequencies, except use tax is filed either 4 times a year or once a month. Filing methods, there is the online filing method. OH Tax e-Services is available for both sales and use tax filers. County vendors, license holders can also choose to file over the phone using our telefile system. All taxpayers are required to file electronically, so please reach out if you are unable to do so, and we can discuss alternatives. When you go to file, you're going to want to think of a couple of things. So first, you want to think about reporting according to when the sale took place. You want to report only the sales that take place during the given reporting period. For sales and use tax, we think of a sale as having taken place once an order is received by the vendor, not necessarily when payment is received. So in the example of a monthly sales tax filer, if let's say they receive an order at 11 p.m. this Saturday, the 28th, that sale is going to go on their February 2026 sales tax return, even if that vendor doesn't receive payment for that order until next week, like in March. The second thing you want to think about is reporting according to where your sale takes place. Typically, this is the county in which the sale is done, where the order is received, or where the service is received by the consumer. We do have an information release on our website dedicated solely to figuring out where to source sales. It's called Sourcing, and it can provide more information on how to source these sales. It even has a table on there that provides some common examples. Consider when you are reporting, organizing your records according to your filing frequency and then these two parameters. That might make it allow you to more easily complete your sales tax filing if everything is already broken up by when and where the sale took place. So once you finish filing, you're going to be looking at making payment for whatever sales tax is due. We have a variety of payment methods available to you. All sales and use taxes can be paid online through OH Tax e-Services. Your payment options there are what's called electronic check or ACH debit or credit card. You can also make a credit card payment through ACI Payments, which is a third-party payment processor. For both platforms, e-Services and ACI Payments, if you do choose to pay by credit card, there will be a small processing fee that's assessed by that third-party processor. County vendors license holders have, again, the added option not just to file through Telefile, but also pay through Telefile. That would be by electronic check. We also do have the option to pay by ACH credit through the Treasurer of State. If you are interested in learning more about that, I would have you check out their website, which is listed there. A little bit more about remitting sales tax. So we call it here sales tax remittance because sales tax is paid to you by consumers when they make a taxable sale and then is held for a time before you report and remit it to the state of Ohio. So our recommendation here is to maybe consider storing these funds or accounting for these funds separately from the rest of your business revenue. So next, I just want to briefly cover billing and our billing cycle here for sales and use tax. Billing cycle just refers to sort of the timeline of notices that we send when an issue arises regarding your account. So the first type of notice we send is called a reminder to file notice. It advises you that a return or a payment has not been received or maybe not received in full. by the due date. At this point, your discount for timely filing would be disallowed and some interest might be due. That interest would be proportional to the tax liability that you report on your return. Next, if we haven't resolved the issue, we might send a notice of assessment. That just advises that due to non-filing or non-payment, some additional penalty is going to be applied in addition to the tax liability and the interest. These amounts can be estimated if the issue at hand is non-filing. Finally, we transition the issue to a certified assessment. That just describes sending that assessment to the Ohio Attorney General's office. Once it's sent there, the Attorney General and their related parties will contact you and request that balance due be resolved. At this point, missing returns can and should still be filed, and we can absolutely assist you with that, but payment should be made through the Attorney General's office. When it comes to staying compliant in the billing cycle, please keep in mind that all reminder to file notices, all assessment notices include three things. They include a response date, an explanation of why the notice was sent, and an explanation of the action or actions that are needed. Our recommendation is to please take the appropriate action by the response date or contact us for assistance. Communication in these situations is key. If you don't understand the explanations or need assistance with taking appropriate action, just let us know and we'd be more than happy to help. Next, I just want to briefly touch on our Voluntary Disclosure Agreement, or VDA. So VDA is for taxpayers that have unpaid or unreported sales and use tax liabilities. It gives them the opportunity to disclose and resolve those liabilities with minimal to no penalty or interest through a VDA. Registered or unregistered taxpayers can be eligible for a VDA, so don't think because you have some other type of tax account out there that you are excluded from a sales or a use tax VDA. When it comes to the agreement itself, your request for one should be submitted prior to contact, oral or written, by our department's audit division, criminal investigation division, or business tax division in the form of a reminder or assessment notice for the period. A little bit more regarding VDA. So there is a VDA period that is established once we receive your request. That's a 3-year look back. We have you take a look at uncollected sales tax, unreported use tax, and we calculate interest due on that. Just keep in mind that there is an unlimited look back for sales tax that's collected but not remitted. VDA application, if you're looking for one, their form and some FAQs are on our website, and then you can submit completed documents to the email address on your screen. That email address is also a good point of contact if you have any questions regarding VDAs. It's not addressed on our website. Next, I'd just like to briefly cover some dues for sales tax. Some of these have already been covered by Abby, so I might proceed through them. So first due is going to be to remember to file. So for sales and use tax, we have a filing window. You can file timely anytime between the 1st and 23rd day, at 23rd day being the due date. If you do file timely, you get a discounted balance due. Like Abby was saying, you can sign up for tax alerts. That's emailed reminders about upcoming deadlines, as well as you can opt into general updates about sales and use tax. Our guidance is just to consider filing closer to the 1st than the 23rd. There can be unforeseen issues on our part, like site outages due to high traffic, or issues on your end, like logging in, establishing access. These issues can take time to resolve and in rare cases prevent you from filing timely if you do wait until the final day. The second recommendation would be when you are filing to make sure you fill out county information. That is a page on the sales tax return. On your return, taxable sales and liability are reported on the county information page, and a portion of that sales tax return is then pre-populated based on what you report on county information. So if you skip it, it can result in taxpayers getting stuck later on in the return or even miss filing. So just remember county information. Next, I would recommend that you retain your records. There is a record retention requirement for sales and use tax records of 4 years. However, food service vendors do have other record retention options. This requirement is outlined in the Ohio Revised Code. You can see our website for more information on record retention for food service vendors. And this retention is not just a requirement, it's also valuable for businesses in the event that you determine or realize sales tax was illegally or erroneously paid, since the statute of limitations for a refund request is also 4 years, specifically 4 years from the date that that tax was paid. My next recommendation is to check out your accounts. So details about your tax accounts are easily reviewed through eServices. You can take a look at your filing history, balances due and credits on file, your submission history of not just returns and payments, but also refund requests, account updates, and more, as well as past and current correspondence, basically all letters and notices that have been issued since December 2024. If something doesn't look right on your account, just let us know. We'll talk about how to get in touch with us in a moment here. In line with that, my next recommendation is to keep us informed. You can use eServices to keep us informed of your business closure, merger, or sale, changes to your address, and business adjustments. Those adjustments can include a name change, changing or correcting a EIN or a social security number, structural changes, and more. You can submit all these updates through OH Tax eServices. If you're not using eServices, most of these updates can be communicated through a business account update form, which is found on our website. You can also make some of those updates with an agent by phone or online. Next recommendation is to stay connected with the department. Abby kind of already covered some of those options for communicating, including live chat, secure messaging. If you prefer not to call, you can also visit our welcome center. That's on the first floor of our building for either a walk-in or a scheduled appointment with an agent. We have computers that are down there for filing purposes. And obviously, as always, we have a team of agents ready to take your call Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if you'd rather speak to someone at a scheduled time, you can also make an appointment for a callback on our website. My final due recommendation is to explore OH Tax eServices. I feel like we have plugged this quite a bit, but seriously, setting up a login, establishing business access allows you an unprecedented window into your account. You can use eServices to register, file, and pay not just business taxes, but also your state income taxes for free. You can request refunds for any sales or use tax that's been remitted erroneously. You can view and respond to letters or notices, make updates to your accounts, communicate quickly with a member of our department. An OHID takes a few minutes and an email address to set up, and our staff is very well versed in walking folks through that process. So I strongly encourage it. Again, the resources available to you are very similar to withholding. Our website contains a variety of resources, FAQs, information releases, that self-help library I strongly recommend for both PDF and video tutorials on completing transactions and eServices. And if you're interested in some light reading of the law that covers sales and use tax, please check out the sections of Ohio Revised Code and Ohio Administrative Code you see on your screen. And last is just our contact information. If you have, thank you again for the opportunity to chat with you this afternoon. I'm going to turn it back over to our host.
Wonderful. Thank you all very much for joining us this afternoon. I hope that you all find everything insightful, helpful, and that you are taking advantage of connecting with them and their additional resources that they have to offer. So we want to take a few moments here to get some of these questions in the chat answered here. One moment. All right, so we have a question. Christian wants to know, Should every business owner in the state of Ohio have an account with the Department of Taxation?
So regarding sales and use tax, I would say you only need one of those tax accounts if you have something to report. Generally speaking, we with sales and use tax both, you have a filing requirement. So as long as you have a tax account registered and that account is active, you have to file. And that creates an undue burden on taxpayers that don't actually have any tax liability to report and remit. So our recommendation is if you don't make taxable sales, you don't need to register. If you're unsure if you are making taxable sales, you can always reach out to us and we can clarify. I don't know about withholding.
For withholding, a good rule of thumb is if there is no withholding, you're not required to file anything with us. So if you don't have an employee that you're going to be giving a W-2 to in the state of Ohio, no, you don't need to register with us. But in the event, you can always open one and close it, and then it can be reactivated if you ever do hire someone in the future.
Um,
All
I
right,
see there. Hmm?
yeah, see, she has another question, a couple more here. She wants to know
Mhm.
during access setup, could your request be denied, and what would be the reason that one would be denied?
So yes, absolutely could be denied. So that's kind of why the access setup involves requesting multiple pieces of information. If one of those pieces of information is incorrect, um, the request could be absolutely be denied. In those situations, a follow-up message is automatically sent through the e-services portal. It's going to be under a tab called Important Notifications, and it's going to say either reach out to someone else within your company or your business entity that already has established access, or it's going to say we were unable to verify the information you've provided and ask you for a request letter that we can have on file that just allows us to check off the boxes when we are then going in and approving your access for you. So you absolutely can be denied, but normally there is follow-up.
Wonderful. And the last question that I'm seeing here, and then the one I see Morgan has answered in the chat here for us, but I'll definitely read out loud. Um, Last question from Christian is, why should one submit a W-2 file or a 1099 file? Whose responsibility is it to submit these filings, employer or employee?
So, employer withholding, we do have a requirement for the business to send in the W-2s and 1099s. We use this for any refunds, like if you are requesting a refund, that is how we validate it. But also, it is used kind of to cross reference with a little bit of our personal income tax. But for employer withholding purposes, we use that mostly for any refunds.
Oh, wonderful. And she asked a really good question in reference to your resources, if walk-in appointments are available or mandatory if to schedule an appointment. And Morgan was able to let her know that walk-ins are welcome. So that's a good point here. If you all had any additional questions, just wanted to get those answered right away, definitely go see them.
Yeah, absolutely. We have enough staff to kind of handle both the booked appointments as well as walk-ins. So absolutely walk in if your schedule does not allow you to book an appointment ahead of time.
Wonderful. So we're getting close here to our cutoff time here. Morgan is actively in the chat right now, giving you all some very helpful resources to the Help Center and even just getting signed up for tax alerts here as well. If you don't do anything, I definitely recommend signing yourself up for those tax alerts. Please definitely make sure you do those. But as you see, there is a post-event survey on your screen here. We just have a few quick questions here for you all. Thank you, Christian, so much for those questions. And if you have any extra questions, don't be afraid to reach out to your new resources here as well, or to the proper channels that they do allow those through. But essentially, just take a few moments here just to answer some quick questions here for us. Um, Again, continue to keep engaging with us during our lunch and learn sessions. They happen on the second and fourth Thursday of each month, always at noon, always on Thursday. So join us here again, March 12th. And again, continue to keep checking out MBAC resources in the Department of Taxation resources. You're going to get an email if you did not get a chance to complete this survey to go ahead and have another opportunity to do so. You'll be connected directly with MBAC services and Department of Taxation services. and just some other helpful resources that we think are helpful for our business owners. But in the meantime, we definitely appreciate you all for sticking through the lunch hour here with us. I thank Abigail and Ty for a wonderful presentation and Morgan for being our support person here as well. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you all later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.